Good afternoon, Randall.
Good afternoon, Ebony. Do I have a quorum?
Yes, sir, you do.
Thank you. And thank you for your help today. All right, everybody, welcome. And do you have the list of committee members in front of you, Ebony? Because if you do, if you'd call the roll so we could take attendance, that'd be great.
1 second, Randall.
Okay.
Okay, I have the list.
Okay.
Miss Kim Bazile.
Here.
Mr. Brown is present. Dr. Hyacinth McKee. Mr. Stephen Wynn.
Present.
Mr. Chris Rodriguez.
Here.
Miss Mary Tarver. Dr. Phil Wilson. Mr. Michael Billings.
Here.
Miss Michelle Guillory.
Here.
Miss Tamisha Saunier.
Here.
And that's it, Randall.
Thank you. And just for the record, that must be an old list. Mr. Wilson is not a voting member of the committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. I just wanted to make that clear for the record. All right. Thank you, everybody, and welcome to today's meeting of our Executive Director Search Committee. If you would, Ebony, could you please put the agenda up on the screen for today so everyone can see it? I want to welcome all our guests and thank you, everyone, for your attendance today. I know the holidays are upon us, and it's tough to be available for all the meetings we have to do. So I want to thank everyone for your attendance. And next, we have the approval of our committee summary from our previous last meeting on November the 4th. It's attached there. Do I have a motion to approve that? If you've all had a chance to read it, I hope, but it's linked there. If you haven't, I'll give you a moment to review it. And then I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen makes a motion to approve the minutes, or approve the summary rather, from my previous meeting on November the 4th. Do I have a second to Stephen's motion?
Second.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Mike Billings is the second. So a motion from Stephen Nguyen for the approval of the committee meeting summary for the November meeting. And we have a second from Mr. Mike Billings. Do I have any discussion? Any changes need to be made?
Ms. Kim Bazil has her hand raised.
Yes, Kim.
It's just Kay and her co-worker are not in the, I guess, participants yet. She
Oh,
put
there.
a comment in the question and answer.
Okay, thank you, Kim, for that. I was wondering where they were. Thank you.
They
Ebony,
are
did you-
on as attendees.
They might need to be presenters to be able to share their screens with us, though.
Yeah, in previous meetings, they were, they're panelists.
Okay,
They needed to be moved to panelists.
that's what I thought. Thank you, Kim, for that. Thank you, Ebony and Courtney. So do I have any abstentions to the motion to approve the minutes, the summary rather? Anybody abstain? Does anyone object? Hearing no abstentions and no objection, motion carries. Thank you. So Kay and her team will have to discuss the interview process as it is currently ongoing, and they are working on it for us. So we'll give a moment for them to join us as panelists, and they'll be able to give us a quick update on where we stand in the process at this time.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, Kay. How are you? You have the floor.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's just taking a minute. Welcome, everybody. I think we are ready to roll. If y'all are, we've got sort of a full agenda this afternoon to walk through with you for a few minutes. And Christian, I want to make sure you're here. Christian needs to share her screen with you for a few minutes. So I want to make sure that she can do that as we get started. And Christian, if you could just put up the outline, I will begin the process. I wanted to tell you where we are right now with applicants. We have about, I'll give you a quick update, and Christian, if you'll join in as well. We have about 60 applications. They range in states from Oklahoma, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Oregon, Florida, New Jersey, Texas, Louisiana. We've gotten a wide range, I think a good range of posts from a national search, and still more are coming in. We posted in a number of places that we told you we would be posting, and some additional places. The National Association Council of Disabilities, the Association for University Centers on Disabilities, the Louisiana ARC, Community Provider Associations, TOSH, which is a national search, Parent to Parent USA, the Governor's Office of Disabilities. I know that Brenton has sent this out, and then Christian has posted, and Christian, I'll let you speak up on several sources. Make sure her microphone's working.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have posted on Indeed. We posted on National Council of Nonprofits. We've posted on the LANO website. We've posted in the Advocate statewide and also on LinkedIn. So we have a very wide net out there, and we're getting a lot of really good applicants from around the country and in the state.
Any questions? We really don't want to go into a lot of details on this call, but does anybody have any questions about the update? No? Okay.
Hi, this is Chris. I have a quick question.
Yeah, Chris.
So this sounds, I mean, it's very exciting to hear just the breadth of the applicants. When you say 60 applications, are those just basically like 60 applications that have been provided, or are these 60, I'll say, legitimate applications that meet at least the minimum requirements?
No, no, those are total applications.
Okay,
So,
great. Thank you.
yeah, good question. No, not all of those do. I think I have vetted about 40 of them myself, and you know, I think there's a pretty good dozen in there that look like good potential. So we'll see. One of the things that we're going to talk about today, and I'll say this here, I don't think you will find someone that meets every single criteria in your job description, but I think you will weigh the you know, the talent and the skill set and the characteristics of each individual against that job description and find that there are some great candidates out there with expertise in a lot of different areas. So my question before we start is, I know this is an open meeting. If we begin by talking about interview questions, and this is a technical question with you, are we potentially sharing questions in a process with people out there who may be interested in this job? And do we need to go into executive session? Someone may have an unfair advantage.
If we are going to talk about questions that will be asked of the applicants, then an executive session will be required, just for the fact that you just mentioned. We don't want to give unfair advantage to anyone who may be viewing this now or later when it's posted, since it's a public meeting.
Yeah.
And so when we get to the questions as they will be posed to those 60 applicants and whoever else, you know, would apply in the period for applications, then yeah, we would need to go to executive session. So just let me know when we get to that, and I'll call for executive session.
Okay, and score sheet as well.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because the score sheet has a lot of potential things on it that will help vet the candidates, and we're going to move there pretty quickly.
Okay.
So I will tell you that we will close the applications on January the 7th. We are going to ask your candidates for videos, those 12 candidates that we bring to you for final vetting and eliminating down to the 6 that we will interview. You will have their resume, a score sheet, a video clip from each of those candidates to review, and then you will eliminate 6 of those, and we'll have a final 6 that will go into in-person interviews. The committee will select those final 6 candidates the week of January 28th. And what we would like to do now is talk about the score sheet, the questions, and that process, and go into executive session so that we can dig a little deeper into where we want to go.
Okay. Do we have any questions before we move to executive session?
This is Chris again. So as we move into executive session, we discuss kind of the scorecard or rubric, whatever you want to call it, we're talking about the tool that will be used by the committee to narrow down from 12 to 6?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
And would this be an appropriate place for you to tell us a little bit about how you will be dwindling down from 60 to the 12? Because presumably that's going to be all on you, right? Nobody from the committee is going to be able to look at the applications at large. So I'm just curious about what will you be using in narrowing down, getting rid of an incredible percentage of those and presenting us with those 12?
Yeah, Chris, that's a great question. I've already done some thinking about that, and I think we will use a similar rubric to what you are going to use in this first round. And I wanted to talk to you about that today, because I think Christian and I are going to need a score sheet ourselves about what we're looking for. As I've read through these the first time, it's obvious that you have some people that don't fit any of or the majority, 90% of the qualifications you're looking for. So to me, those move to the side. And then, we start to look at other things that you want to make sure that we are measuring. So we'll use a score sheet very similar to yours to vet.
And I apologize for not knowing this or remembering it, but did we require a cover letter as well?
Great question. Christian, I'm going to let you answer that one. You're on Christian's soapbox
yes.
right now.
So we did, let me make sure I'm on. So yes, we did require a cover letter. However, a lot of people that are submitting, I would say about 80% of the applicants are not submitting and following the instructions to send the resumes and cover letters to our Career Center. They are just applying on Indeed or LinkedIn or through the Advocate. So I think that once we move to the top 12 and then we narrow down to the top 6 and we get to that process, I think, if we want to request something in writing, we can talk about that later. But I think the video will be a really good indicator and cover a lot of the questions and a lot of the information we want in that cover letter.
Gotcha. So just to be clear, so we've had to deal with this particular issue ourselves in our own agency, and we have differing opinions on it. So just to be clear, in the application, it's clearly stated that the application should contain a cover letter. Is that correct?
It does. It says send resume and cover letter to careercenter@llano.org.
And as it sounds like, at least from you all, you are not going to disqualify individuals who have submitted, in what would be my opinion, an incomplete application.
I think that's up to you all to tell us that today.
Right. So I think that's kind of where I was going with it.
Yep.
I'd have to give it some thought, and I don't even remember where I fell in our own organization's conversation. But we could start the conversation with saying, if you can't follow instructions or you can't take the time to write a letter, a one-page, at least a paragraph, then you're not going to be considered for this job. So we could take that. And is this the appropriate venue to have this conversation, or do we need to go in executive session?
If we're going to continue to just talk about this process, we need to move to executive session. I'm not going to have any more conversation about the process until we go there, because it's sensitive and we'll end up revealing something that would give unfair advantage, I believe, to any potential candidate, which we do not wish to do. Now, having said that, do we have any comments related to this discussion before we move to executive session from the public?
Yes. This is Courtney. Can you hear me?
Yes, Courtney, I can hear you. You have the floor.
I'm so sorry. I'm having tremendous technical difficulty. I'm actually going to have to exit the meeting, but there are comments from Ms. Coranda Corley and Dr. Charlie Michel, and
Okay.
I'm trying to get to that screen so I can read them. Ms. Corley types, would it be a conflict of interest to have an agency, oh goodness, getting more comments, to have an agency have so much input in our executive director search? Has the DD Council created a rubric with a real vetting process in line with the Civil Rights Act? Dr. Michelle says, will consideration be made to have virtual interviews, especially if the numbers of COVID-19 infections continue to rise? I would be cautious of anyone who is applying for a position of this caliber and can't follow the directions for the application. If no cover letter is submitted and it is a stated requirement, disqualification seems to be appropriate. Ms. Susan Ryan says, I agree with Charlie. This is a high-level position that needs someone who can, at the very least, follow directions and write a cover letter. And Ms. Corley again states, were these qualifications presented for the applicants prior to submitting?
Yes. And so thank you all for your suggestions. We're moving now to executive session where we will discuss all of the matters that are pertinent to this search. We are aware of the laws we are under, both federally and state, that we have to follow. And so we will take all of your recommendations into consideration as we move into executive session, and we will return once we have discussed the questions. And again, we're doing this because we don't want to give an unfair advantage to anyone who may watch this meeting now or later and who has applied. So, or who may apply. So having said that, thank you all for your questions and comments. They are noted. And I'm calling now for us to move to executive session. So Ebony, can you send us a fresh link for that?
This is Courtney. I will do that right now.
Thank you, Courtney. Thank you. And we will return as soon as we have completed the work to the public session.
So to be clear, Randall, we're going to get a link in our emails right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going
Very
to leave this meeting, Randall.
You're going to leave this meeting. Courtney's going to send a fresh link. And so
Okay,
that's the one you click on, and then we'll be in executive session once there.
okay,
And then we will return to this link after we're done with executive session.
okay, perfect.
Thanks, Randall.
Okay.